Hello, everybody. I'm Kipp Snow, Director of the Transportation Distribution Logistics Institute at the Community College of Baltimore County.
Hey, everybody. I'm Mike Singer, Community Manager, Baltimore and Chesapeake Bay Shipwatchers. Welcome to Two Guys Talking Ship podcast, episode 56. So, are we done amateur hour, or we're still having?
I don't know. How many times did it take for us to go and do the opening credits? How long have we been doing this?
It's been a good year and a half. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Does it remind you that? Remember, what was it? The Amco transmissions, where they had like the monkeys beating on the transmission. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Clang, clang, clang.
Yeah, we've been working on transmissions for a good 2 weeks. Yeah. Hey, everybody. So if you're new to the channel, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be alerted to new podcasts as they come available. Share with your friends across social media. Share the podcast with somebody you think might be interested in the port. And we're not just saying that. We really do care. We're Kipp and I are here on this end of the camera, and we get views. We can count views, and we get a couple of comments, but not a lot. So we're kind of just blathering on out into the ether here, and sometimes we don't get a whole lot of feedback. But sometimes we do get little pieces of feedback, and it's really cool. Here, I wanted to read this one. This was from episode 55. Hey, this was a great episode. Thank you. I appreciate the decision to make a shorter episode for this event. For someone like me who did not know much about the incident, it was perfect. I come to you guys first to find out the real deal with Baltimore ships. Of course, I love Sal. Who doesn't? He's like the industry standard in ship podcasting, right?
Right.
But you are our local guys. Thanks. So little notes like that kind of make it worth it when we're trying to carve out family time so we can sit down and do a podcast from our kitchen / dining room, non-studio, and and cram to come up with a bunch of stuff to throw on the podcast when there's not some fantastic dramatic thing happening.
Right.
And you had a story. Do you have a story you'd like to share about from this week?
Yes. Actually, this week I was fortunate to host a meeting out at MyTags, the Maritime Institute for Technology and Graduate Studies out in Linthicum. If you need your U.S. Coast Guard licensures, that is your place to go for your 100-ton and your 200-ton captain's license and all of the endorsements and everything. They've got a full-blown maritime training facility there. With quite a number of simulators and the alike. But we actually, I hosted a presentation there on behalf of Baltimore County Workforce Development on a grant that we're working on, but we're focusing on the maritime industry and maritime related training. And so we had a panel discussion with a large number of nonprofits, a large number of educational outfits here in the county to come together and discuss what opportunities exist within the maritime industry. Mm-hmm. And so on this panel presentation here, we have on the far left, that's Captain Bill Meekins with Vane Brothers. He's one of the tug captains. Second from the left is Ryan Lynch. He is president of General Ship Repair. He's actually fourth generation in the company there that's over 100 years old. Mm-hmm. And so he was discussing the shipbuilding and ship repair industry. And then to my immediate right is Fritz DeGuda. He is the terminal manager for Ports America Chesapeake at the Dundalk Marine Terminal. Mm-hmm. And so I had representation from the major sectors of the maritime industry: shipbuilding, ship repair, seagoing, and port logistics. And we talked about what are the skill sets that people need to have in order to gain employment within those particular areas. So it was great to hear from from each one of my networking colleagues here, and to hear firsthand what these companies are doing and the jobs that they are hiring for and what the skill sets are. So we're actually developing programming and fine tuning some of our operations to help support these industry leaders in meeting their employment demands. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was involved with this past week. But what was really neat about this was, as I was being introduced by my coworker at Baltimore County Workforce Development Board, she had I had prepared a like a 3 sentence bio of this is Kipp. He
The
works
stuff
at the
I
community.
do, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
But then she went on for another 3 to 4 minutes about the podcast, and unbeknownst
Really?
to me, yeah, I had no clue that she had done research, and
So
she
you were
found
surprised by this.
I was completely surprised that she
Is
had
there a
found.
camera of like your mouth hanging open with, agape with surprise? And
I no, not quite, not quite. But now there might be somebody may have been. I had no clue, but no, I had no clue. She was talking about it. She went on about his buddy Mike, and they've been doing it for a year now, and she talked about some of the stuff that was in the episodes, and she got the name right. Two Guys Talking Ship podcast, and so that's what I was like, okay, yeah. So she's got all the lingo right and everything. So it
mm-hmm.
was. It took me a minute to get readjusted for the panel because my face had turned beet red, and I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." But we got a nice unsolicited plug for the podcast there. So
Very cool.
yeah,
Very cool. So that's what I was trying to say earlier is that, it would be nice to get some feedback. If you're a regular listener on YouTube, hey, type us a note in the comments if you could. It's just nice hearing from people on the other end that you're just not blathering into your laptop screen for no reason,
right.
and that there are actually people listening on the other end.
So I was and seriously, if there are segments or topics that we cover that you really like, let us know. If there are areas that you want us to go research in and provide some information in, leave that information in the comments. Mike will send me information throughout the week going, hey, did you see this comment? Did you see this picture? So we do talk about that and try to plan around those types of things. If there's
Absolutely.
something you don't like, please leave some constructive criticisms. Please don't come after us completely. But if there's things that we know we can do or change or improve, or you want to hear something different, hey, let us know. But we're just trying to bring that information to you from the Port of Baltimore's perspective.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, because it all kind of started for me when I didn't know any of this stuff. And
Right.
so just curiosity, right? And so then it became, well, gee, there's probably a whole bunch of other folks who don't know all these details. How do we get this out, right? And so
Right.
now we're doing it in 10 different ways. Um, but that's kind of how it started. I
Sure.
didn't know these details, and then I learned them, and then how about if I share them with other folks? So here's a fun little thing. Uh, when you have friends, when you make friends because of your associations, with the ship watchers and with the podcast and with the camera, and so I get a knock at my door yesterday, and I go to the dogs barking, freaking out. We just got off the boat. We had a great day, and so my friend is at the door, and he made these little. He made me. It's like a little carrier, and it's
Ah,
got my handle on it. With a Shipwatcher sticker and a beer opener kind of deal. Okay. And then this
nice.
was cool. This was cool. So you've heard me mention this before. My grandson, because my handle on the camera chat is Pinboy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they like to call him Little Pin. which was, really cute.
That's
So
cool. Yeah.
I'm just going to take a chance. I mean, it doesn't
There
get
you
much
go.
cuter than that. Look at that. Future so bright, you got to wear shades, man. Right?
There you go. That's
Awesome.
awesome.
Now, then
Oh, really?
made one for Kipp,
How about that? That's awesome.
right?
Yeah.
Pretty
Dude,
cool.
that's awesome.
So these things, and I've gotten drawings of ships from like the 1800s, and I've got artwork from that somebody did of the Key Bridge, and um, what I'm trying to say is all wonderful things.
Yes,
What I'm also
absolutely.
trying to say is I have a small house. Uh, please don't send me a bunch of stuff because I have no place to put it. I mean,
That's
I'm very thankful, and it's awfully,
yes, yes.
awfully thoughtful when you make relationships, when you're doing something that I guess we love. Do we love this, Skip?
I'm doing it on a Monday on Labor Day on my day off. So
Yeah,
yep,
we love it. Okay, just checking.
yep. That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you very
Yeah,
much. Yeah.
yeah, that's Norman Fogel. Okay,
Okay.
so
Thanks,
that's everybody.
Norman. Appreciate
Yep,
that.
yep, very cool. Um, all right, so we're how many minutes in? We haven't even hit the shipping update yet.
Yeah. Why don't you get into some shipping updates then?
Yeah. So we'll just try to run through these. So this is like the last 5 weeks. So I'm gonna just run through them. So this is average daily truck transactions. So we look at how many per day added up, then divide by 5, and come up with an average for the week. So 3,761, 3,876. Mike must have had a really good week because I messed up and didn't get this one. That was 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, 3,298, which is the lowest number we've seen in months.
Yeah.
But that was a ship explosion.
Correct. Correct.
Port closed for like 2 days. And then just this last week, Mike screwed up again and didn't look at the numbers early enough, but 4 days worth was 3,624. So,
And if that's only 4 days worth, that sounds like that they.
but but that's an average divided by 4, right? So, but still, yeah, and that's including a Friday, which is typically the lowest day of the week.
Sure.
Um, so
They were
so
playing some catch up there.
yes, probably. And I would guess that if we had Monday factored into that, that number would be even higher.
I,
So outside of the low ball and the one that I missed, we're 37, 38, 36, which is pretty cool. We'll have to again see where that trend leads us.
yeah, I'm curious to see what the end of the month numbers end up being. I think that that's just going to be a little blip, just because factor
Mm-hmm.
straight to the explosion.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think so.
All right, so going into some Port of Baltimore news, the Evergreen has got some got an announcement, don't they?
Well, not this is not necessarily an announcement, but just something that I picked up on.
Okay.
As we say, I have it bad, and I pay attention to ships all the time. And so, when we looked at the schedule previously, um, the Evergreen line or service would come in about 4 times a month, right? And those were on those. And if you're watching out there, if you have a boat, or if you're watching on the camera, you'll probably know exactly what I'm talking about. It's those non-branded, so they don't say Evergreen on them, but what used to be the largest ships to come to this port. Um, the T class, the Evergreen T class. Um, and so Then we had talked about that there were some Evergreen M Class ships, and we've seen 5 of them so far. And they kind of mix and match them with the T class. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of. Then I just noticed that this last month and this month we've got more of the newer ships than we do the older ships.
Mm-hmm.
The older ships were, I'm trying to remember what their number was. I think 14,800 TEUs.
That sounds about right without looking at.
Right. And even though there are 20 sister ships, and you can go in Evergreen and pull up the list, there's like 20 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But the TEU numbers are a little bit different, even though the ships are pretty much all the same size. But now I noticed that these newer ships, and they've got, Evergreen is just in giant, bold. Be interesting to know how tall those letters are.
Yeah, I know,
Wouldn't it
right?
be? We'd have to figure that out one day. And then bright green paint.
Mm-hmm.
But we're seeing even more of those. So end of August, going into September. Can you show the schedule?
Yeah.
End of August, going into September. So the Ever Magi, and then Ever Matches in port now. Then Ever Mass, Ever Mast. One visit by our old favorite, the T class, the Texas Triumph, and then Ever Magna at the end of the month. So I don't know if this is a very small. Well, it is a small sample size, but I don't know if this is a 1 month trend, or
Sure.
or at least for these routes, we're seeing more of the newer ships than the older ships.
Right.
And the newer ships hold 15,324. So we're talking an extra 200 to 300 full size containers.
Containers, sure.
So why not be more efficient and use the newer ships? I'm sure they're more fuel efficient. Wouldn't you think? So maybe that's a reason, but maybe we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
There's you got some pictures of the Ever Match that's come in.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. Do you have some of those you can share with us? Oh, look at that thing. And then look at the giant spoiler on the front of it.
Yeah, look at this picture is a little bit closer up.
Wow.
I wonder how much wind it really deflects.
Well, yeah, and remember when we had that what was it called? The Wallenius Wilhelmsen Forward Way.
Yeah.
Remember, and it stuck out like a sore thumb because Wallenius Wilhelmsen never goes a trade point. And we had never seen a ro-ro ship look just like that.
Right.
So it was quite the attention getter, and I think we're really alerted to how many little tweaks they're willing to go to. Now, if you were the company that built this monstrosity on the bow of this thing, now each container is how tall? Can we figure out just kind of this thing is what, 50 or 60 feet tall? Easy.
Right.
I don't. Yeah.
Well, you can compare it. You got it's covering 5 stack containers. It's
right.
This is a significant windshield.
Right. Right. I mean, it might look small from a distance, but that's a lot of steel there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you need to make sure that it's supported and strong enough so that if you were to hit a rogue wave, that you're not going to destroy the thing that you just added onto your bow.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot. And I'm joking here. It's not just paper mache to deflect wind. It's
right.
It's an actual structural
there's
member.
A steel structure. Yeah.
And it's standing up on the front of the boat by itself. So I mean, it's got the wind is probably the fuel efficiency thing, but I think it adds, like rogue wave protection also, is what
Okay.
I recall hearing. So yeah, here it is coming in past the how do we say that? What
Keybridge site,
yes, the
former
Keybridge site.
Keybridge site.
Yes. Oh, this is a fantastic shot by our
Yeah.
friend David Seitz
This one.
coming under the Bay Bridge. Now that might be a different one.
It is a different one.
That's a different ship, but they all.
They're all about the same.
Yep, I think they're all exactly the same.
This was a picture that David took with
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of show the clearance. Now that these are two separate shots, the
Yes.
bridges are not this close together, but you can
Right.
see some of the the limited clearance that exists with these ships. They can still get under, but it's going to be
Right.
tight.
Right. Cool. Very cool. There were some great pictures.
In some of the things that we were discussing this past week with the W Sapphire explosion, there was
Mm-hmm.
also some mention on new bulk handling
Mm-hmm.
facilities out at Tradepoint Atlantic, and you got some. You
Yeah,
got
and we've been
a picture
covering
there.
that for a while. And so it's neat to, we have some pictures that we can show. And it's neat to see them actually built. So this is, courtesy Stream Time Live. This is the camera that we helped set up. And so you can see the angle and the covered section, as it goes, and then I guess it, would dump into a funnel, and then I don't know if it keeps going from there because supposedly rail is involved somehow,
Okay,
or I don't know if they're going to wind up, running dump trucks under there or something. But as long as I've been here, um, they've been manually unloading or loading, with a crane, of course,
sure.
with buckets, but then you're either dumping it onto the pier and and then putting it into a massive dump truck, not like a normal dump truck, like
Hmm.
almost like one of those massive construction company dump trucks.
Right.
And and I think this is restricted to one side. Um, so that they don't, because if it served both sides of the pier, then I would imagine it would be difficult to do other type of loading with this conveyor
Sure.
system on both sides of the pier. So
Sure.
um,
Still allow for it to be multi-purpose or
mhm.
multi-product servicing.
Right, because they do a lot of scrap out of here. So can you imagine how that would work out? You'd
Right.
load a bunch of scrap on the conveyor, and that won't last long.
Mm-mm.
All
No,
right.
not at all.
Right.
Not at all. Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then in this kind of further zoomed out picture, you can see a ship on the far side of what we call a finger pier at Trade Point Atlantic.
Right. That's
So,
what you see right there. Yes.
yeah, so this is their new $30 million system to boost efficiency. And it's cool to see that coming to light and actually getting built.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Also, now this may be what is it that you say? This may be
The
something that
thing that may only
only
interest me.
interests me. Well, it's not anymore. The but this
We need a banner like running across the screen.
alert. This is something only Mike cares about.
Right, right. What is
um,
wrong with this guy?
I
Okay.
know, right? So what has been happening this past week? A year ago, you and I took a trip on the John W. Brown from Norfolk to
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore
Mm-hmm.
as it was returning from dry dock.
Right.
Can't believe that's been a year.
Right.
But on Sunday morning, you and I, over a cup of coffee, sat up in one of the hatches and discussed range lights And
Yep.
this was not something that I was all that familiar with. And you took
Mm-hmm.
some time as we were coming up the river to look at the different range lights that had been, put, and you were explaining that to me.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got some information on that now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, and let me just tell folks about them. So, there are range lights all over the place. I was focusing on the range light system that ships use as they come up the bay. And so, what it is, it's a lower light that's closer and a higher light that's further away. And when you're in the channel and those two lights line up, you're right in the center of the channel, go in the right angle with the right heading. And so if you look at this picture here, this is my buddy Julie Cameron put all this together. God bless her. And this will soon turn into a range light page on the Baltimore Shipwatchers website, baltimoreshipwatchers.com. And so what you're seeing here, and hopefully you can see the two orange circles represent one range, the two yellow circles represent another range, red, blue, and then purple. And that front purple one is actually on Fort McHenry. That black derrick that you kind of, if you're walking like along the sidewalk near the seawall and you can see all the harbor out there, and you're like, what is this thing doing here? It doesn't make any sense. And that's the front light. So, but what is going on here? The Craighill Channel lower range, as they call it, where you see those two yellow circles on this image. Those two are old lighthouses. So, as far as I know, it's the only range in the bay that is done with two lighthouses.
hmm.
And now the thing that may only interest me is I found out through just somebody taking a picture of some structure on the bay and saying, "What the heck is this?" And then some of our very nice folks that work for the local tug company saying, "Oh, that's the new range lights." I'm
Hmm.
like, new range? What are you talking about? So can you give us a zoom in, Kipp,
Yeah,
like where
absolutely.
that yellow arrow is, if you could? And you scroll up there, perfect. So right here, as you can kind of see that yellow arrow going past the red that's tailing off, um, is about where they're going to be putting the new range lights that are going to be replacing the ones that are on the lighthouses that you see in the yellow circles up above. And can we go back to the other picture?
Mm-hmm.
And so here are the locations. Here are the locations of the new range lights. So because I spend way too much time on the camera, that those the lighthouses that I was describing as part of that yellow range in the other graphic, one of those it's a giant caisson round lighthouse that was put out there in 1885,
Mm.
and it's
Okay.
one of the few lighthouses in the bay that it's not only a lighthouse, but it's also a range light,
Interesting.
right? And so it's kind of a one little cool thing that I like to talk about. And I don't know, in 6 months or another year, I'll be talking about how it used to be a range light. And so that kind of bums me out a little bit.
Sure.
Just to see that. And I don't know what the factors are. Maybe we can do some digging with our port friends and see if we can figure out what the reason. Maybe they're just, hey, these things are old and it'll be
Sure.
a lot easier to maintain these lights if we just put up a new set
Yeah.
that isn't on something that was built back in 1885 with a rusty old ladder. And I don't know.
Sure.
I'm just making stuff up as I go because we really don't know what the real reason is. But yeah, so interesting. 5 sets of range lights that the ships use as they're going north into Baltimore Harbor from the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. Here they are: yellow, orange, orange, yellow, red, blue, and then purple. And that's just the colors that we picked for the graphic. But that yellow one that the ships use when they're going due north will have a new set of lights attached to it sometime in the future.
All right. Well, that is fascinating. It'll be so you heard it first. Mike's going to get all this information put up on the website.
Our web guy is working on it right now. I haven't
Oh,
seen it yet,
there you go.
but he told me he had time to work on it this weekend. So
It was, I will say, it was fascinating to be on the Brown navigating up the river and you talking about this, and then just a slight tweak, and then all of a sudden both lights line right up, and I'm like, oh,
right,
there it is, yeah,
right, we're in the lane.
yeah. Where you're supposed to be. So
right.
all
And then
right,
we tried to do like a little didn't we try to do like a little podcast recording? And then, if you're not,
yes,
photography can be quite challenging. And if you're trying to, you're trying to get your faces in the shot, we would have had to been like,
yeah, it just wasn't, yeah,
and nobody wants to see that.
nobody.
To be able to get the lights, in the shot, it was a great idea, but yeah, we couldn't make it work. But anyway.
All right, so let's moving on from that. Why don't we recap the explosion? We had the W Sapphire, who had a malfunction, an explosion with based on the products that it had on the vessel. Part of the explosion included one of the hold hatches, it being blown off. And that hatch went into the channel. And so we have some pictures of the recovery efforts here.
Right. Now this was the first day, and I think that was Wednesday. It was either Tuesday and Wednesday, or
there was multiple days, Tuesday and Wednesday.
It was 2 different days. And so they tried to remove it. This is the first crane that they brought out, and they blocked the channel, shut the channel down all day, like 9 to 5, 8 to 5. And these guys tried all day to bring this hatch up. And I know because I was watching.
Sure.
And you could see all the attempts, and it just didn't work. And then they brought some bigger artillery out the next day. This is McLean's crane called the Baltimore, and as you can see, much larger, much larger crane. And what was really cool is she was out there, I don't know, I think it was about 9 o'clock, and by 11:11, they were steaming away with it.
Done.
Pulled it up and got it out of there, and the port opened pretty quick after that.
So we have another picture after the fact, but we also got some video. Now this is a pretty long video. We're not going to show the whole thing. I just want to show you a small portion of right when the hatch breached the water.
Cool. Yeah. Now, if you look closely at the block and tackle, whatever it's called, at the top of the triangle there, if you're watching at the top of that triangle with the crane in the background, slowly but surely, and watch, it just came out of the water. Now it's all kind of grayish. The water's gray, the hatch is gray, the barge behind it is gray, the background is gray, but we can see it coming out of the water, so that's pretty cool.
So, and it's also being hoisted up on its side, so it's not coming out flat; it's coming out sideways.
Like
correct.
Like my cell phone.
There you go.
Something like
And
that. Yeah.
and so just in that particular moment that you see the boat that's right next to it. You can
Mm-hmm.
see the size of the people who are standing on the boat. You can
Wow.
see the
Yeah.
size of the people who are
On the
standing
barge.
on the barge here. All
Wow.
right. And so that's at least 6 to 10 foot of of hatch cover sticking out of the water at this point,
Right.
and that's not everything.
Right.
This is a significantly large piece of metal,
What was it? Something like 90 by 25 feet and like 25 to 30 tons. Just
and if the
casually
first
blew off the boat.
correct, and if the first crane couldn't come in and do it, and they had to get a bigger crane in to come in to really do it, it really did take 3 to 4 days for this to really happen safely.
Right. And that's what I was thinking the whole time. Okay. So you imagine you're building a ship. You've got this giant piece of steel that weighs, it's an assembly of steel, but this giant steel structure that weighs 30 tons. You're building a ship. You've got to lift it onto the ship. I would bet you, well, I'm not going to say anything crazy, but I would bet you that there are lifting eyes
Mm-hmm.
already on this piece of this hatch, right? Because they had to lift it to get it onto the ship in the first place.
Correct.
So, where are they? Are they accessible? Is it easy to get to them? 50 feet down in the mud? And how do you safely plan this? You're not going to pick, I would imagine that they were not going to pick it up by a single point, because
Sure.
that's single point failure. When you're talking about OSHA and lifting things in the proper way, two is minimum. Um, so so I imagine that they were thinking all this through, because it did take days, because remember the Coast Guard. Now, did we talk about this in the last episode?
I don't think so. No.
Okay, so, and I wish I had a little graphic, but this hatch was found at 49.7 feet. What's the channel rated for? 50.
50.
We typically run coal ships out of here at 48 feet all the time. Regular occurrence. So they said we're going to limit you to 47.6. 47.6, or was it 40? I think it was 46.6. So now, it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but when you're putting, your ships aren't going into the water another foot and a half that everybody had already planned for. So the port was restricted, was draft restricted by the Coast Guard. And so, so they made it a scotch more than 3 feet was kind of like
Sure.
the safety margin. And it was like that for a few days, like you said. And, I would have loved to have been a fly on the engineering wall trying to figure
Mhm.
out,
Right.
what equipment are we going to do? Is it nearby? Is it available? Does it have the capacity? How are we going to get down there and do it? What if we can't get to a lifting lug?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All that stuff. So I imagine an immense amount of planning went into, and then when you lift it up and you're going to put it onto another barge, I'm sure you're going to be as safe as you can be, but there will be people around. So you don't want this thing falling.
Right.
So the guys who do this underwater have to be really sure how they're, and I mean, and how the heck do you do that?
Right.
You're you have some lights on, and you have these giant clevises with like 1 or 2 or 3 inch bolts that I don't know, do they have underwater power tools? I mean, how the heck do you, because Just it would be interesting.
Absolutely.
Your assignment, should you choose to accept this, find us a diver to talk to.
Well, I know of some divers that have worked in environments similar to this, so
Hmm.
I can imagine what it may intake.
That's
There's another picture, and then
and
you can
it looks like it's on an angle, so maybe it's sitting on the barge and they're just starting to lay it down. I mean,
start to lay that right,
that's just a guess.
but you can see that if on average that's a 6 foot person,
And it's as tall as the tugboat.
yeah,
Wow. And that's the short side. So
impressive.
that's like the 25-foot side,
Hmm.
supposedly. Yeah. Wow. So crazy to think of all the coal that goes in and out of here that a ship explodes,
Right,
that nobody was hurt, that it happened to be the number 2 hold, not the number 7 hold, which would have been right up against the superstructure where the crew and the pilots are.
hmm
Nobody got hurt. And then, just the little old tidbit of 30 tons of steel flying through the air and leaving the ship
right,
unscheduled. Uh, just just the sheer enormity of that just kind of blows me away. Like, okay, they went and got this piece of steel. Then, give people the big picture of 30 tons of steel being ejected from a ship.
right.
I mean, they talk about the power of an explosion. Just
How about the wake of it going into the water and
oh
the
right,
splash?
when we watched the video, well, we didn't watch it on here, but yeah, we saw that on video. This giant kersplash. Uh,
Yep,
that no matter how many cannonballs Mike does with all his friends, you never get close.
yep.
Uh,
Cannonballs, huh? In the pool. That's yeah.
yeah.
The all right. So the hatch is now recovered. The port's now the channel's back open. We're back in
Mm-hmm.
operation. So
Mm-hmm.
that is all good news. The we haven't mentioned the Pride of Baltimore in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
She has finished the Tall Ships Erie campaign. It is now Baltimore bound. They did make
Cool.
a quick stop in Cape Vincent, New York. I don't not quite sure where
Mm-hmm.
that is at, but they did make a stop. Apparently, they were ahead of schedule and decided that they were going to um, stop in New York and open up for a quick, opportunity for local tour.
Yeah, that was
Um,
pretty cool. You're ahead of schedule, and then you get to take a break. Well,
yeah,
but do you really get to take a break? Because now you're in. It's like they're always on,
correct. Yeah,
right? Because that's kind of the name. You're
there's no autopilot.
right. No, but I meant because they are a ship that's spreading the word about the port of Baltimore and Maryland and Baltimore itself. Okay, we're going to pull into the stop. Oh, great. Can we just hang around and do nothing? No, we're going to open for tours,
Correct.
which is wonderful. But, just if you're somebody working there, you think, oh, we're ahead of schedule. But no, we have to still do our jobs, which is spreading the word of the Port of Baltimore and have everybody come on this really cool ship.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the Pride will be back in Baltimore very soon.
Mm-hmm.
They've made some announcements on the vessel's website that the Pride 2 will make her grand return to Baltimore under sail
Mm,
on September the 19th.
nice.
And they the Pride folks are stating to be at any one of the normal viewing spots within the harbor
Mm-hmm.
between 11 a.m. and noon on September the 19th. And you'll be able to
Mm-hmm.
see her as she comes into the harbor.
Yeah, and a lot of times, just to make sure they get the timing right, like they'll be into the bay and they'll anchor out like between the Key Bridge and the Bay
Mm.
Bridge, and spend the night out there at anchor. and then come in the morning just to make sure they get the timing right.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
we might have a little bit of, you know, warning
Headway or
head,
an alert.
yeah, a little bit of notice coming up on that date. It won't be like you actually have to track her and keep track of where, because we'll probably know the night before.
And I'm sure on their social media
Oh my goodness.
outlets that they will go ahead and publish that information also.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Key bridge updates.
Yeah. Boy, we'll talk about bearing the lead, huh?
I know, right?
How did this wind up? What is this? Story number 6 or something? Wow.
There's a whole bunch of stuff. Yes. A whole bunch of
Yeah.
stuff's been going on.
So the update, and this is actually a couple of weeks old, but we haven't had a chance to talk about it. Is that they are bringing in these, and let's stay there for a moment. So here's the
Sure.
Baltimore. Here's the Baltimore crane again.
That crane has
This is
been that crane has been hustling for the past couple of months here.
Yep, and I think McLean keeps all their cranes like in Curtis Creek, like right there near the Pennington Avenue Bridge. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're used to going over there, you know what I'm talking about. There's a plethora of cranes that's there sometimes. But so here are these giant pieces of steel that came in not on 18 wheelers, but on 50 wheelers. Let's go to the next picture and give you an idea about how crazy big. Now, this is crazy. This to me looks like a miniature movie set. This thing is so big. I mean, the truck looks like a toy to me when I look at this picture. So, and be sure to look under the steel and look at all those tires, right? You normally get 8 tires or 4 axles on the back of the tractor, and then another 4 axles and 8 tires under the trailer, right? And this, I don't feel like counting. It's a lot more
I
than
know
that.
that's a lot.
It's an awful lot. It's 18 axles. See, I really don't feel like counting.
6, 7,
Uh, 3, 6, 9, 18. Well, 9 axles, but yeah,
9 axles set, but it's
yeah, we
36 wheels. And
yeah,
that's just on the trailer.
right, right. Um, and so these are components of a massive frame that will be placed atop the test piles. So remember what? Gosh, what episode was that? It was like back in the 30s when we had and we talking about the static load test, and I was like,
Correct.
"Oh, I'm kind of familiar. They kind of do this at NASA. Um, they'll take something, and then they, um, what's the normal load going to be? Okay, we think it's going to be X. We've got a factor of safety. We're going to load it with whatever 1.5 times as much steel or whatever, and wait and sit on it and see if it fails or bends, right? With just
Mm-hmm.
like one piece of it. And then, okay, we know we've passed this test. But this is on oh my God, this is on just a humongous scale. Now, just to see that this is one piece of a frame,
Right.
uh, raise your hand if you heard this before, has my curiosity going, okay, what does this frame look like? Where,
Mm-hmm.
how many test piles are there? Is it going to be a giant square frame across 8 different test piles? Or remember, I think we showed these graphics on the end of the last podcast where they're taking the, what is it, 2-inch steel,
Yeah.
and they're rolling it into giant 8-foot diameter sections
Mm-hmm.
that are how long, and then they weld them together to form, a giant like telephone pole or longer sized thing, but it's 8 feet in diameter, not whatever, 2 feet in diameter like a telephone pole.
Right.
And so drive those in, then put this weight on there. I'd love to hear about the calculations, like, because how much does a bridge weigh, for God's sakes?
Right.
Okay, so
Not only the bridge, but all the traffic and all the, everything that you're hauling across it.
everything, right? Okay, so factor of safety. There's an accident on the bridge. How many possible trucks are sitting up there, each weighing 80,000 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And, sitting on the suspension part of the cables, and it all transfers down to those main towers. It's how it's built. The energy or the load gets transferred to where it can be. And then, so how do you come up with a number? And how do you design something? And then how do you figure out where it gets built? How you build it?
Mm-hmm.
How in the ham sandwich do you get it to Baltimore? Just all that stuff. Um, so I hopefully we're going to be able to watch it happen. So yeah, this is some pretty big stuff.
That'd be
So
cool.
yeah, look at that. There's
I,
two pieces of it on these trucks. I mean, it looked like toys. Crazy.
Impressive.
This is on Canton. This is in Canton. This is what, 1, 2, 3, 4 piers over from Console.
That's right.
Yep. So
So they're
fascinating.
getting that ready. I'm curious to see how much more may come as part of the load test.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Are there 2 more pieces like that coming? It's part of a frame.
right.
If you picture a frame like a picture frame, there's 4 straights and what? 4 beefy angles on the corners. I'm just, I have no idea.
Be
I'm
curious.
just,
Yeah.
I'm
Be
just
curious to see
making.
what they end up. What they end up with that and how that test goes.
Right, right.
For those of you who do want to find out some more, MDTA does have their information sessions with their Keybridge
Mm.
rebuild engagement team.
Mm-hmm.
So September the 6th in the afternoon at the Baltimore Boat Fest at Lighthouse Point Marina.
Mm-hmm.
You can go there. September the 7th, Middle River Landing at the Sundays on the Water Festival, Anne Arundel County Fair, September 10th through the 14th. And so you can also go to the Key Bridge Rebuild site website and social media. They have all these
Mm-hmm.
dates. We want to make sure that everybody knows about those dates. So if you do have questions or concerns, make sure that you go out and engage with them during those sessions.
Right. And just to give us a plug, if you're having trouble finding it for some reason, you can't remember Keybridge Rebuild, whatever, um, www.baltimoreshipwatchers.com. It's on the very first page of the website, where you can kind of see the new and the old bridge kind of superimposed behind each
Mm,
other. And then down in the right hand corner, we'll take you to the website,
there you go.
the Keybridge Rebuild website. And all of this should be on there somewhere.
Good.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of upcoming events, Defenders Day is coming up. It's September. It's Baltimore, so we know that we're going to have lots of celebrations around Defenders Day. It's about 2 weeks away, September the 12th through the 14th. You can celebrate more than 200 years of Baltimore stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's Baltimore's oldest holiday, and this year's activities highlights the generations of defenders who served at Fort McHenry, later fought to preserve the site as a national monument and historic shrine. And so they've got a fun day of history, music, fun, and fireworks. So go if you may want to take a look at visiting Fort McHenry. I just went over all of the most immediate Keep Bridge rebuild
Right.
sessions.
Right.
Told you a little bit about the Pride of Baltimore, so mark your calendar for September the 27th and 28th. Also out at Broadway Pier at Fells Point.
I think it's only one day, bud.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's okay.
September the 27th from 11 to 4 at Broadway Pier. If you don't make it out there for the festival, what's the festival?
Celebration.
Okay. Shipwatchers will be out there also. I know
Yep.
at least Mike will be out there. I'm going to try to be out there for the festival. So come out and see us. But on September the 28th, the next day, the Pride will be parked out at Fort McHenry, and you can actually go on a free deck tour out at Fort McHenry on the Pride too.
Very cool.
Fast forward into October, they're also going to be back out at Fells Point for free deck tours also. So we'll remind everybody closer to that.
Cool. Yeah. So if you happen to be at the celebration September 27th, come out to our tent. You won't be able to miss us. And grab a free sticker or a magnet.
There you go.
Come say hi.
Excellent.
Let's talk ship.
There you go. Be more than just two guys talking ship at that point.
Right.
All right. In our Port of Baltimore history segment, I would be remiss if I did not mention that on September the 1st, 1942, the Liberty ship SS John W. Brown was launched from the Bethlehem Fairfield shipyard at the Port of Baltimore.
Very cool.
There's a picture.
Go ahead.
There's a picture of her leaving right there.
That's so cool. And just for a second, I'm like, oh man, we could have led with that and done a whole 15 minutes on the, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There's so much to talk about. So much going on here at the port. We're doing our best to cover it all.
All right. So that was the history segment. That's all I've got for today.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So as we close up, just to give you a little reminder, well, wait a minute. I have a question. What did the captain say to the ship that was facing the wrong way?
Uh-oh.
You're going to hate yourself when I give you this answer.
All right, hold on a second. Let's see if I can work this one.
Yeah.
What did the captain of the ship say?
What did the captain say to the ship that was facing the wrong way? All right.
Go for it.
Carry the one. A boat face!
Have you seen the skits where you have like Will Ferrell and like I don't know, whoever the other actor might be, and they're trying to tell each other dad jokes and make each other laugh, but we could do a little game with maritime dad jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Try to make each other laugh. How about that?
There we go.
All right, maybe I'll ask the research. I'll ask the research department to work that one up.
So, as we close out the podcast episode, Baltimore and Chesapeake Bay Shipwatchers, two guys talking ship podcast, and we're all over the place. We've got the website that has the podcast link. We've got swag, hats, T-shirts, cool coffee cups, some glasses, some glassware. Did I say hats? All kind of cool stuff. There's ship schedules, port maps, soon to be a new range light section on the website. So that'll be cool. And it's so much information. Shout out Julie Cameron for putting that all together. She worked her butt off, and it's only taken Mike about 6 months to put it up on the website. But that was really cool for her to do that. We're on Twix. Shout out Amy Lawrence. Instagram, Reddit, Threads. You'll be able to see us in multiple places.
Sounds good. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we're trying to get a couple other platforms also. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're on YouTube and you like the podcast, you're just somebody who watches every day, just give us a little note. Just say hi. That would be cool in the comments
Much
section.
appreciated.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. Short week.
Yes.
We'll be able to get to Friday sooner than not. So
Than any other week.
that exactly. Yep.
All right.
All right. Let's count us off. 3,
Let's do it.
2, 1.
Happy ship watching. All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll see you next week.